So I get asked quite often about the probate process. How much is it going to cost you? How much is it going to cost me? And that's what we're going to look at today. Hope you're doing well. What's up, everyone? Courtney Rollins, Estate Pro Service Life and Transitions Experts podcast host. And I just want to dig in and show you some of the particulars that you can expect to pay when you are going through the probate process. So we're talking particularly about North Carolina. And so if you are in a different state, I definitely recommend reach out to me or reach out to someone in the area who can help you out. But I can connect you with a trusted, vetted estate professional that can help you figure out what to expect as far as the cost is concerned. So how much? So already, if you don't even count the monetary cost, there's the cost of the process of losing a loved one that you'll definitely everyone responds to loss differently, but that's definitely something that of course we want to be mindful of. It's also time. If you're the personal representative, which means that you've been designated as the one who is settling the estate, whether that's as an administrator because there wasn't a will left and you stepped up, or because you were designated as the executor based on the last will and testament of that loved one. It's time, which may mean time off of your already work or job or projects that you are working on, and that's something that you don't get back. Also, if there's family members involved, there's the cost of managing the expectations of family members. It's kind of coupled with the last one. The fiduciary responsibility is very high for a person who is the personal representative, and you have heirs, you have everyone who's has either a vested interest expecting you to follow this process correctly. And if they're not in the day to day, the rubber meets the road, they may not have an appreciation of what's taking place and how actually challenging navigating the process can be. Let's look at the actual monetary cost. There's usually about three fees that come with the probate process. The first one is always going to be there, the court fees, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. And then there's an attorney fee if you decide to go with an attorney, which again, I always highly recommend that you go with an attorney for these spaces, these cases. And then there's fees related to administering the estate, whether you're cleaning out the a property so that you can sell it, so that you can actually pay off some of the claims and debts, or distribute some of the inheritance, or follow the instructions of the last will and testament. We'll dig into some other things that are absolutely there, but 1 and 3 are definitely going to be there. Number 2 is more of your option. So court fees in North Carolina to open up the estate is going to cost $120. Then as you are gathering the inventory and accounting for all the personal asset, there's an additional tax of 0.4%. Hope that doesn't look odd there, but 0.4% of the total value of the estate. So if the state has assets that are worth $1 million, then 0.4%, oh my gosh, I should have had that calculated. I know that should be it's four something. So I taught second grade. Let me use my tools here. Hey Alexa, what is 0.4% of 1 million?
0.4% of 1 million is 4,000.
So it's $4,000 for $1 million. So if you have a $1 million life insurance policy, or a collected property value, regardless of how much mortgages or debts is on there, adds up to over $1 million, then you're already expecting to pay $4,000 for that filing, and that's going to be each time there's a filing. Now there is a minimum amount of $15 that you'll pay, and I should back up and say that it does depend on the size of your estate if you're even going through the probate process. Some states don't have to go through the probate process based on the nature of the assets that are involved. But you will expect to pay a minimum of $15 if you're going through the probate process, and a maximum of $6,000 in North Carolina. And that's during the accounting filing. But each time you go in and file, there's this cost. So this continues to add up. These aren't one-time fees. Now, your attorney fee, again, you're not obligated to use an attorney, but it's highly encouraged and recommended because of the fiduciary responsibility and the different steps that need to take place. So that depends on the estate and the pay structure. That's usually going to cost between $2,000 to $10,000 There may be some outliers there from both sides of that, but that's in general what you're going to expect to pay. It's a wide range, but again, it depends on the size of the estate. The larger the estate, the more responsibility and liability the attorney has, and the more work they usually have to go through. So that's why the structure is a little higher. And then some attorneys charge by the hour. So you have to take that into consideration. And then some of the administrative fees we're talking about, part of the process is making sure that people are aware of this decedent and have the opportunity to make any claims that they may have for debt against the estate. And that's a notice of creditor. And that's usually going to cost about $114 to $130, depending on the publication. And again, some of these other fees that may be associated with preparing the property or a house or personal property, or just different things to make sure that you're meeting the needs of the folks who have vested interests in the estate. Now, again, the cost, this is something that begins to eat away at the generational wealth that you may be attempting to accumulate or pass on or transfer to folks. So all the costs, the attorneys, the filing, the administrative fees, these dig into what actually could be left behind, which is why it's so important to, in my opinion, avoid probate in a lot of people's opinions. So I highly recommend everyone make it your task, your job to connect with an awesome estate planning attorney, a family estate planning attorney that can help you look at your options and spend a little bit of change now to create and set up whatever meets your family's needs so that you can avoid the cost here. Paying a little bit now is going to give you so much in dividends when it comes to the mental aspect of knowing that your future is secure, that your family is protected, and the financial aspect, because probate is a public process. So everyone's going to have access to the information, to the assets, making claims on any debt that may be there. And there are ways that you can protect your assets, putting them in title in the right proper place and space so that they won't have to go through probate and they won't be subject to public scrutiny and subject to the filing fees that go along with the probate process. So I highly recommend that you do that. If you need an estate professional, reach out to Estate Pro Service. We can sit down for a free consultation. I will connect you with, point you in the right direction when it comes to finding an estate planning attorney, even other services that are needed in this process. Attorneys are amazing and awesome, but they don't do every single thing. So you may need someone to help with some of the personal property. That's really where my groove is, the house and the stuff. I really help families who are trying to think of solutions and options, particularly if they have debt they need to pay, or if they have they want to liquidate assets so that they can distribute the inheritance. That's where I come in as a professional cash buyer, as well as connecting with so many other services. If you need clean out crew or move or contractors repair, or perhaps you want to even list the property, we can help you with that. If you need help figuring out your finances, we can connect you with our network of financial advisors. We try to be the hub so that we can help people, whichever the situation is. So feel free to reach out to us at Estate Pro Service, LLC, or any trusted probate specialist in your area to help you along with the process. And if you are listening to this on YouTube or Spotify or Apple, would love for you to hit the like, subscribe, leave us a comment, leave me some feedback. And I thought I was starting sharing here. Yep, awesome. All right, that's rock and roll, folks. Rising tides, it lifts all sails.